dioxide. We don't do that because already you are bad enough, so we don't want to mess you up. So we, however, don't want to hyperoxygenate you in the name of pranayama. That is hyperventilation, is Kapalabhati. So why are you doing? In about 5 of these breaths, you have done actually hyperventilation. You have become lightheaded because you had more oxygen than needed. Right? So that's why you have to observe people doing Nadi Shuddhi. Can be a bad practice. If they felt, if you feel headache, heaviness of the head, uneasiness, that means you are exerting much pressure on the lung, not on the lungs alone, but also on the sinus cavities. You are inhaling too much. So that is what people do in pranayama. You have to always understand that when they have cold hands, cold feet at the end of it, they have overdone their pranayama. They hyperventilate themselves. They think they have to breathe a lot. No, they have to breathe with awareness, that's all. Breathe slow, not breathe a lot. Mm-hmm. See, there is an amount of air that has to go in is more, is what they think, and they have to expand their lungs, which is true, they have to expand their lungs, but not the way they are expanding.
I can still be not doing it like this, I'm still expanding my
lungs. Yeah. Of course, breathe slowly. Right? Gati vichchedaha. You are slowing down your breath. You are not increasing the amount of air that you suck in. And breath holding capacity. What are you doing? Holding the breath. Inhale deeply, hold your breath and slowly release. That's what you are doing. Okay? Then?
So here you said the inhalation, exhalation is longer than inhalation. So why would we do that?
Good question. See, I like questions. That's how we can answer. Always exhalation is associated with parasympathetic system. Inhalation is associated with sympathetic system. What is sympathetic and parasympathetic? Fight or flight, rest and digest. Remember the cave and the animal being attacked. The animal comes out of the cave, drinks some water, deer, and meets a lion. And what happens now? Sympathetic. The body says, I have to sympathize with this deer because he's going to otherwise get eaten or something, and he runs and muscles are tight, the body is tight and the pupils are dilated so you can see far off and you can run far off fast. The blood pressure increases, heart rate increases, your breath rate increases, right? All of that, and then you go into your cave and you just parasympathetic system. Suddenly you are sleepy, you are tired. You were not tired just about a second ago you were not tired. Now as soon as you found safety, you just feel very tired. Come out of the exam hall, I'm hungry. Until that point what happened? There is no hunger. Water conservation, mouth is dry, suddenly you are thirsty. Right? All of that. So that's sympathetic and parasympathetic system, and it's like really heightened situation. So sympathetic response is the response to stress. Parasympathetic response is the response when you want to relax deeper. And after every sympathetic episode, the body goes into natural parasympathetic system. Okay? And that is what is induced when you are exhaling more than when you are inhaling. Why? Your inhalation is a work. Exhalation takes you closer to relaxation, right? So, increase the duration of exhalation. Yeah? Make sense?
So relaxing more.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, yeah, it's intuitive that you relax more when you're exhaling. Inhaling
an exhaled state of lungs are the relaxed state of lungs, right? Dead body is in an exhaled state of lungs. Naturally, there is no one who dies with a big breath inside, because you just let go,
Let go.
moving towards that Shavasana state. Okay, the first symptoms of correct practice are feeling of freshness, energy, lightness of the body and mind. If you feel headache, tired, I finished Nadi Shuddhi, now I should relax, then there is a problem. Okay? The hand positions, make sure it's not going up like that or going to the side like that, and neck going to the side, because the hand is here, and they don't want to bring the hand here, they'll take the neck here. So that's also to be observed. Chin down, tucked like that, see, not bent like this. That puts a lot of pressure on the shoulders. Yeah, so you have to hold yourself up straight, chest always broad, and chin
Yeah.
down, not
the neck.
not the head down. Okay, that puts you can easily see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This.
And always start with the abdomen, then move towards the chest and shoulders. That's how you want to breathe. Okay, full yogic breathing. But at the same time, don't overly do that. Yeah. The moment we say full yogic breathing, you tend to then breathe too much. Be sahaja. Okay, so we talked about promotion of 2 nostrils. We talked a lot about nostrils. Vitality, always pranayama increases the inner vitality. Metabolic rate decreases. The basal metabolic rate has to be less. But when you have to bring the strength, you should be able to do that. Okay, that's what happens with pranayama, and it increases the agni because you are now relaxed. You can digest better. Rest and digest is a parasympathetic system arousal. Sympathetic system arousal is fight or flight. So when you are in fight or flight, your digestive system is just shut off. All the unnecessary processes of the body are shut off. So if you are in a continued sympathetic arousal, your digestive system will not function well, because your motility is just always, there is a spasm at that point. Spasm is, episodal is okay, spasm, right? Episodal spasm is, the body says, oops, no, you are not digesting the food now, there is a danger, go run. So then there is a spasm here at that time. It just stops, blocks all of these organs, and then you are running. But if that becomes chronic, habitual, vasana is the word we use, then it says, okay, it's time for me to hold and not digest. If there was no danger at that time, but you are so habituated to it that it says, okay, I have to not digest the food. So it doesn't digest at that point.
And builds up
And then it
toxins.
builds up all these problems. Yeah, then the gutter is blocked. And then it starts smelling. Mosquitoes, worms in our body, bacteria. Pure vasati. Remember? I'm bringing the concept of the city and the gutter to show that prana and its disturbance, its blockage means what? That's what it means. Okay? So, lowers the levels of stress and anxiety by harmonizing the pranas. It's very good for respiratory system because your breathing is normalized, and then nasal allergies or not. But you have to be careful. If there's already an allergy and a blocked nostril, you cannot do it. It introduces tranquility, clarity of thought, concentration, and clears all these pranic blockages, wherever it is, not necessarily only in the nasal tract, even anywhere in the toe, for example, because now you have balanced the Ida and Pingala Nadi. These are called right and the left. Nadi is in the spine, this is spinal column has Ida and Pingala. Pingala is on the right side, Ida on the left side, and that the prana either flows in Ida or Pingala for us all the time. So we are either at one point breathing through the left or right. It keeps switching also through the day. You can track your nasal dominance, and if you balance your nadis, then the breath flows in Shushumna Nadi. in the center, and your both nostrils are always balanced. That is supposed to be the ideal state of health. The ultimate optimal state of health is your Sushumna Nadi is always open, prana is flowing in the Sushumna Nadi, in the middle, not in the right or the left. As necessary, it will shift. When there is stress, it knows how to handle it, but you are not in a stressed state all the time. You are mostly in the middle,
How do you
balanced
track?
nostrils.
How would you track?
How do you?
How would you track? You said you can track.
Nostril dominance, right? Hold one nostril and breathe through the other. And you know which one is blocked. Usually there is some blockage on one side. One is more blocked than the other. One is more open than the other. So that's a primary nostril. Do you see that?
You mean and then shifts during
It
the
shifts.
day?
It shifts. Ideally, they say it shifts every 90 minutes. It doesn't happen that way, but you can always track and you can write down 4, 5, 6 times a day or every 2 hours you want to check and maintain a track. You can do that. That's
Yeah.
self-sadhana. Yeah. Okay? Helps maintain brahmacharya, which is a prerequisite for spiritual growth. Okay, see there is also Surya Anulom Vilom, we don't want to do right now. This is good enough. Then Bhramari we already learnt. So tongue touching the upper palate, right? Producing the sound, high pitch sound, nakara, na. Wherever the tongue is when you say na, that's where the tongue stays. And produce the sound from the back of the throat. I saw something there. Never take your eyeballs up. That's one rule in pranayama. Keep your eyes low and relaxed. The sign of taking the eyeballs up is stress, and then eventually it hurts your nervous system. Yeah. Observe all this when your students are practicing.
So you're like very consciously trying to do because but just like relaxed way of doing it means I'll be like here, I'm gonna not look up.
And now that we are done with, we'll let you do your AB practices. I have the script here for Sukshma Vyayam. In fact, very few are mentioned here. You may want to practice